We are live.
Okay.
सॉरी चैट में थोड़ा अपडेट करते रहना.
Hmm. ठीक है. I think we'll wait for 2 minutes and then we'll start with Suraj Bhaiya's introduction and we'll start with the question after that.
Cool.
Okay, I think we can start now.
So hello, good evening everyone. Today we have Swaraj Bhaiya for our session. He is a 22 batch grad from our institute from CS department. He has completed his internship from Microsoft and he is currently working at Uber uh, as a software engineer. We would like to know more about him from himself only. Please, Bhaiya, give your short introduction.
Hey everyone. My full name is Swaraj Pradhan. I'm a alumnus of the batch of 2022. I'm from Computer Science and Engineering department, and yes, I completed my summer internship in the college from Microsoft, and currently I'm working as software engineer at Uber. So that's all. That's a short intro from my side.
Okay, so I think we can move on to the questions, right? So, Bhaiya, we would like to start with a chill question. So, how is your life at Uber? Like, what are the perks of joining Uber? Can you brief us?
Yeah, the life currently at Uber, it's pretty chill currently. You get to work on exciting projects, and talking apart from this work side, uh, I mostly enjoy like playing pool with my teammates and everyone. There's always this perk of free food. The food there is really nice, and the snacks you can go pick any chocolate you like for touring. And the best benefit is that you get Uber credits. So currently work in I'm currently working from Bangalore. So I in the weekends I go around more places using those credits.
Great to hear.
So now let's jump to the main questions for today's session. How vital is DSA for your whole placement journey and currently as a software engineer? How important is being? Please elaborate, Bhaiya.
So DSA, what in my opinion, I think it forms the building blocks of logic when software engineering industry is concerned. So when you are as a software engineer, you are expected to know to write quality code. So having taking that into mind, you should be handy with using data structures and knowing all these complex algorithms, and not just limited to DSA. I think as a software engineer, if a software engineer is concerned, should also know the computer fundamentals. But as I think Neil asked the question about DSA, So yeah, knowing DSA is pretty much very important for not just for placement scenarios, but also for to you become a good software engineer.
Yeah, that's great.
Okay. So yeah, what is the difference between DSA and CP, like competitive programming? Like, is CP really necessary? And can I crack good placements without using CP and only through DSA?
Okay, so how I segregate DSA and CPs, I believe DSA and DSA to include only standard algorithms. So you should know knowing the standard algorithms and all the standard data structures. But real life problems are not just DSA oriented, where you know that you have to use this algorithm. Real life problems are pretty much different. So that is where CP comes into play. I think through CP, you will also have a hang about maths and logical reasoning. So CP is using your math skills, logical reasoning, and equipped with DSA, with the data structure and algorithm. That is what CP is. So from OT perspective, you don't necessarily know if the company will ask a standard with this will ask a standard DSA question or algorithm question. So it's always good to be proficient in CP. There, it's okay to know DSA only, but if there's room for more, then CP is encouraged.
So just a small add-on, I would like to ask that do you have to be expert in competitive programming, or like we can just basic level is sufficient for on-campus placements?
Uh, uh, See, the answer is with growing competition, do not limit yourself to if there is a certain level of CP. You never know this OTs and everything. There is nothing such as people scoring this much will get selected and everything. There's always this what I'll say. It's kind of like top 50 people, top 100 people that get shortlisted. It's just a example I'm saying. So you never know how your competitors are performing. So you should not set limits to, I'll say, your CP, that I should be a basic level. I should have basic decency in competitive programming. Just excel everything, I'll say.
Okay, Priya. So, what strategy did you follow to solve the questions, like during contest or practicing, or after solve the question as after the contest?
See, for when practice is concerned, my first rule was to not just me and my peer group. We just followed one thing. However, the contest is, just go and participate. The other things will come later. The thing is, you will get better at CP. The more you practice, you will get better. So now coming into a contest, I'll say it depends totally on the how the scoring. I'll say how the scoring of the particular contest is. Do not spend too much time in one question. If you're stuck at one question, do not give that question the entirety of your time. First, solve all those questions that you know. Then pick some questions, and I'll say switch around. If you get any idea for a particular question, then go solve the problem and submit it.
Okay. So, Bhaiya, we all know that Uber has one of the toughest online OTs. So, can you tell us about your, OT experience and interview experience of Uber, and how the whole recruitment process is for Uber?
Okay. So my Uber recruitment process was a off-campus recruitment process. So the off-campus recruitment process, online test of off-campus, are is slightly on the tougher side compared to on-campus. And Uber is also known for having difficult questions for OTs. So my OT actually consisted of three questions. All of them were kind of basically hard. Two were hard and one was like hard and above hard, you can say. So I was fortunate enough. I think I was that able to get through the OT. And when interview is concerned, for software engineer work, mine involved three interviews. Okay, and the questions mostly varied on the medium hard or hard side. The toughest questions that you will face are the OT section. Interviews are not that difficult, the questions in interviews, but you can expect medium hard and hard questions. And the third interview, that that was focused morely on the, I'll say, design side. I was not expected to tell a completely correct answer, but it was mostly based upon the discussion of knowing opinions of designing principles and everything.
Okay, Bhaiya. So suppose you are in an interview and you encounter a question for which you don't have an initial clue for solving. So how would you attempt that question? What were your thought process to solve that question?
So, so that is where I'll say CP comes into the picture. This kind of scenarios you'll face in practice contest, like every now and then. That is where I'll say how much you have practiced will really matter. But since this is an interview, it's more kind of an interactive session than you giving the correct answer. So when you're stuck at something, ask the interviewer for the right questions. Ask him that what part you are getting stuck, and maybe you can ask him to clarify the question, and then maybe start with a brute force approach that you think will brute force approach. I think you all know what is brute force approach. Then adding on how to optimize it.
Yes.
So just
So
a small
Bhaiya,
add-on.
do you prefer to practice mock interviews for this kind of situation, preparing?
Yeah, any kind of practice is always beneficial. I did not had much practice with mock interviews, but I'm not suggesting that you do the same. Having like having a experience with mock interviews or interviews, prior interview experience will always help.
Okay. So, Bhaiya, this question is for the non-circular students. Like, should they focus more on DSA or development? Because for them, the most of the companies that hire mostly focus on the development side. So, is DSA necessary for them also? That's the question.
I think you should not choose between X or Y. I'll say uh, get a hang of both of the things. You can build expertise on any one of it, but you should also know like both of it. I'll say it's good if you are good in both. That's the best. That's the best thing. But doing something and ignoring the other completely, that might be critical.
So Bhaiya, give us some points to look out while building an software-oriented resume.
Okay, I'll say be detailed and be thorough first. Uh, Keep your internship experiences. I think those are the best highlight if you're applying for a job. Okay, and if you're applying for an internship, if you do not have any prior internship experience, the key things to mention first, I'll say, will be your projects. Of course, you all are going to mention your educational background and everything. That is the bare minimum. Okay, so yeah, I'll say keep your work experience first, then projects, then some achievements. Achievements as in you can I also do mention my CP profiles and everything. Or if not just CP, you can mention if you have any awards related to the computer science background, and so on. Just be thorough, be pinpointed, and also include links if you have for your projects and everything. If you have any displayable project and everything, so I think that is very advantageous. If you can showcase your work to the interviewer in a very short span of time, that is how your resume should be.
That's great. Uh,
Okay. So, just a second. Am I audible?
yes, yes.
Okay. So, Vaya, since you have cracked off-campus placements, so we would like to know how do you approach off-campus, opportunities, like the whole process of, asking for referrals and how to apply them. We would like to know the difference between on-campus and off-campus placements.
Okay, so the first thing about off-campus placement is scouting. Okay, you should always be connected. You should at least have a peer group. See, you cannot know about all the companies that are hiring, right? It is possible through a peer group. Okay, build a peer group of your own. Okay, and then after that, then things come scouting. If you are able to see, if you are able to gather the information that this company is hiring, the best way the best way is to ask for a referral. If you know someone directly, a senior of yours, or any alumni, if I say, if someone is working in the company, it's better first to approach them, because referral do distinguish your candidature. And after that, if you do not have a referral, no you do not, it's not like giving up. You can still apply from the link that I think that you will see. Then after that, off campus, then I'll say just uh, cross hands and wait for the meal.
Yes. So, Bhaiya, as someone who has done a decent level of DSA, how much development skills one requires? How many projects the one needs to add in the resume to get shortlisted for the companies?
See, I'll say it's not about the number of projects, but I'll say you should have at least one good project that you can speak about. See, interview is consider interview to be a more of a discussion. Okay, so you should the interviewer expects you that you should have worked on a team. You should have worked as a team for any software related project if you are interviewing for of course for a software engineering role. So you should be thorough of the work you have contributed so that you can explain the same to the interviewer. So it's not about the number of projects. Have one project and be thorough about it, and it should be a good one. But there's always room for more. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, this question might seem like open-ended. Like, considering the current market scenario, will DSS still be relevant in interviews? Like, because Chat GPT and other things are also coming. Like, it is easy to cheat. So, we would like to know what will be interviews in 1 year or so.
I think, see, that's a good question, but I'll say, see, do what the best you can do in your position. Okay, so I'll say, do not rely to these terms of cheating and everything. Uh, there's always a background check, even though solution that you submit for OT, they also have in-person check that of not just, I'll say, uh, I can say, because in Uber, I have checked the OTs of couple of students. It's not just that you submit some solution and expect that if it goes through the system, then it won't have a second layer of check. But if you are thinking then you are wrong. It's not just hampers your reputation, but also the college reputation. Do not fall to this false means, wrong means, and just do what the best you can. And talking about this interview process, if there will be a change, I think, when if you are applying for junior level of positions, not I'm not talking about mid senior or senior level of positions. So they mostly check you on DSA, because they as a junior developer, it's not that you are going to work on some specific thing. They mostly hire someone with a general knowledge, someone with good with coding skills, debugging skills. So I think for junior level positions it won't change, but for mid level or senior level, it might change.
So, okay, Priya. While addressing the third year students who will be going to sit for the placements next year, if someone has not secured an on campus internship, what should be his plan further for securing a good placement Any
Okay.
suggestions you would like to give?
Okay. So the first is, I'm assuming you do not have an on-campus internship. So the first thing what you can do is look for an off-campus internship. See if you have any luck around that. So if you get an internship through off-campus, so I think getting an internship that getting an off-campus internship, getting an on-campus internship, both is the same when you are applying for placements. Okay. So by any chance, suppose you are not having any luck through off-campus internship, just do not lose hope. Work on building your skills. Have work on work on a very decent project, that if anyone asks you that why you do not have an internship, so that you can have a reason that I was working on this project, which I think I have. And so you can say that I have enough skills, I have gained enough experience or skills through this to replace a internship experience. And also, uh, you can also have decent time left with you to practice DSA and CP and everything, and also learn more about computer science CS course.
Yeah, sure. That will be great help for the students.
Okay. So I think now we can take questions from the students also. I would request you all to post your doubts or any questions you would like to ask Bhaiya. Let's see. So
So
Ashutosh Das, yeah, Kalp gone.
yes, we have a question from Astos Das. In OTs, how many questions we required to solve?
Do not limit yourself, bro. I'll just say solve as much as you can, but everyone do understand that OTs have a time constraint. So just add up the scores. So sometimes the questions in OTs do not have equal scores. Like there are three questions: question A, question B, question C. All of three of them might not have been the equal score. So just I'll say strategize accordingly. It's not just limit yourself to a number of questions. Since it is OTs are competitive, there's nothing such as solving two out of three questions. There's the only question that remains is top 10, top 20, top 100, so on.
Okay. Bhaiya, can I ask, like, in your Uber OT, how many questions you solved?
I think I was able to solve three of them, or two and a half.
Okay,
I don't exactly remember, but there were three questions. I think it was 2.5 or 3. I don't exactly remember.
that's great.
Yes.
Okay, let's wait for some more questions. Smith Panigrahi has asked, okay, the second year student roadmap. Okay, I guess for DSA, I presume.
Yeah, but yeah, if you could just tell what you did in your second year and what you would say some mistakes that you made and some things that you did correctly. So it's a
Okay.
long question. Yeah.
Okay. So in my second year, I'll say I was too much focused on DSA only. My most of the time, like my third semester was mostly invested in academics, like having a good decent CG and everything. But I also did like normal DSA and everything in my third semester. I did not have a very good familiarity with CP in my third semester, but I won't suggest you that wait till third semester for CP. Uh, my times were different. Your times is different. Start as early as possible for anything. So just make a balance. Do DSA and do not leave practice contest. Do not think that my rating will fall this much or this much. Always consider the contest as a practice background where you can rate yourself. Do not think that people will judge you that you did not perform well in this, because at last the final exam is basically you can say your OT and everything. So also have a good decent background with some project or something, so that going ahead in third year you can, if some you do not have to ramp up again with some tech stack or everything to build a project, so that you can build any project comfortably. And talking about myself, I think something I did correctly was start, something I did wrong was wait for some time to start, I'll say.
Okay, so there is another question from Swam Prakash. Are there software internship for non-circle students? Like, how many opportunities there for non-circle students in software field?
I think ideally, if you are applying for software internships, I'm saying ideally, so that you should be just based upon your software knowledge or computer science knowledge. But this is not an ideal world. So I'll say it depends mostly upon company to company. What is their requirements? If they want only circuital students, or they are open for any kind of students belonging to any kind of branch. So this question, I'll say, will mostly vary upon what are the company's job requirements and everything. But are there any software internship? Yes, they are.
Yes.
Okay, so we have got another question. So any topics other than DSA to learn?
Yes, of
Okay.
course. There is a whole total of computer science curriculum for it, but I'll say the major ones. You can start with DBMS, operating system, computer networks. Okay, these are the, I'll say, the bare minimum expectation, but you can also have good knowledge on distributed systems and everything. Uh, uh, so I'll say that's all.
Yeah,
Okay.
that are necessary for as a CS student. So other question is regarding the CGPA. 7 CG. How? What could be the ideal CGPA for and placement or internship?
So I'll say having a honors degree is ideal. Honors in the sense is having 8 or above CGPA. That's the best. That's if you are only concerned about placements. If you are thinking about research or everything, you should have a very high CGPA. But when placement is concerned, having above 8 is good. But I'll say 7, yeah, you might be shortlisted for some companies, but there are certain companies that have this requirement of this above 8 CGPA or above 9 CGPA. Because I remember in my final year, there was a company which had this requirement of 9 CGPA also. So,
Yeah.
but less than 7 is there, you'll rarely find any companies asking for students having less than 7 CGPA. So if you're around that band, you should push your CGPA accordingly to at least have it above 7.5 or 8 maybe.
Okay, Vijay, since you told us about scouting off-campus opportunities, we have a question that what are the platforms you would suggest for scouting these off-campus, internships or placements?
Okay. I think back in my days, we mostly scouted on LinkedIn, because during my COVID time, I think LinkedIn took a boom. So every kind of thing that you'll see was actually posted on LinkedIn. So have good decent LinkedIn connection, and not just limited to LinkedIn. You should also have peer group network, so that if you are missing out on certain XYZ opportunity, so you are informed about that. And I think some lead code blogs also, I think people post in lead code also or something. I don't exactly remember, but back in my time, I think LinkedIn was the bare minimum that we did.
Uh, can you suggest some good DSA projects?
uh, Good DSA projects, as in say, you can pick anything. Matlab, the standard one is you can start with something like e-commerce website, polling website. You can have your visualizer something. I think that's a very common project, having a algorithm visualizer. So I think these are some of the standard DSA projects. I do not have anything out of the box in the top of my mind, but yeah.
Okay.
Just a second.
So we have another question. Bhaiya, can you please suggest some websites students can use for the practicing or for gaining the information about topics?
Okay, so I'll suggest three things. So one is lead code for basic level for standard DSA questions. Lead code basically will have a platform of all the previously asked OT questions. I followed Code Forces for CP, and their blogs are really helpful because their blogs in Code Forces are detailedly explained. And apart from that, there's a CSES problem set also that I think is a gold mine, where you can find all too much of standard DSA not DSA questions, good algorithmic questions. But CS, if you are able
Bhaiya,
to solve all of CS, yes, I think that's
in this question also, it's a good question. I would like to ask for a beginner: is we should we stick with Hacker Rank or Code Forces while starting CP?
I'll say just start. Matlab, irrespective of the website, just start. If you are like very new to programming, if you are learning to code, Code Forces is not the right platform, I might say. Uh, for learning perspectively, from learning perspective, start with HackerRank or something. Hacker Earth is also good. So after I'm saying this, after you have good hang of at least your coding skills, then you can jump to Code Forces. But if you are just starting, Hacker Rank, Hacker Earth, or Lead Code is also good. I think Lead Code problems have this some problem cards where you can go learn arrays, linked list trees, and everything. After you are comfortable with it, then learn, then jump. You can jump to CodeChef or Code Forces.
Okay. Bhaiya, I have a question. I mean, how did you realize that you had to start doing CP or DSA? Because nowadays we are seeing a trend that a lot of second year students are inclining towards data science because there is this boom of generative AI and everything. So, how did you know? Like, is it because of your seniors, and is it okay if they follow data science projects or data science courses instead of inclining towards DSA or CP?
Okay, so data science, I think I'll say there's a reason why DSA is taught very early in computer science curriculum, because it will basically form your building block, which is my opinion, honestly. So for data science also, from data science perspective also, most of these ML algorithms that you see, ML algorithms are also built on top of this standard algorithms. Na? Data structure, if you are doing data engineering or something, you are also doing some part of coding, right? So that is when data structures will come into picture. So I think following, you should follow what you like, what you have interest on. Do not fall for this herd mentality that people are doing this, people are doing that. Do what you like.
Okay,
So
the so do you think companies really care about this your CP achievements in resume, and what achievements should achieve to sign the resume?
uh, do companies really care about CP achievements? Some companies really do. They do not care about actually the achievement, but what you have learned through that journey, that is what plays the most vital role. So if you if if I say most of the CP students, most of the people who follow CP are very fast debuggers. I'll say that is one skill that I have learned greatly from CP, that you are able to debug your code very fast compared to someone not following CP. So some companies do, some companies do not. It basically totally depends upon the company. And if you're asking if yes, what are the achievements you can target? So I think achievements or something. There are some contests that happen yearly. You can first talk about ICPC, Facebook Hacker Cup, or Google CodeJam. These are one of these are one of those three very reputed achievement that you can have.
Yes.
Okay, so we have question from Priyanshu. How to clear the doubts that one has while practicing DSA doubt clearing.
I think most of the doubt, most of the questions have an editorial. So I'll say first try uh, like everything to solve the question. If you are not able to solve, there's always this editorial. This editorial is also, I think, nowadays people, there are a kind of hint one, hint two, and then editorial. First, try to look at the hint one and go back to the question. Then hint two. If you're not able to, then again hint two. Then editorial. So I think most of the questions are editorial, but also discuss the questions in peer groups, because you might have you might happen to have only one approach for a question, but a friend of yours might have some innovative approach. So discussing in peer groups on or in your friends group, that is I think is really helpful.
So next question is about the language. Do you think C plus like what problem do I need to face of I start DSA in Java? So like basically, the one is asking, it's okay to start DSA in Java or C plus plus or any other language, or one should start in particular language only.
No, I think any of the object oriented language is good enough. I'm saying object oriented language because you'll also gain fundamentals through OOPS and everything. So there's nothing like as a language bias. So most of the companies, I think, they are open for you solving questions in any of the languages. So that's more of a personal preference, I will say. But anything Java or C++ will be good.
Okay, so I have a question. What are the prospects of grabbing quant-based roles in India? And could you highlight on the important concepts we need to master mandatory for quant-based roles? Okay.
I think okay. So for I think quant based roles, their how far I know their interviews, they are too much of CP oriented. So use not only data structures and algorithms, you should also should be handy with advanced concepts of DSA and advanced mathematics. So it's not just that some certain algorithms you can get through. You should also be good in maths, I'll say, maths and logical reasonings. So I'll say these are the most important concepts for quant based role.
Yes. What are the different achievements that can be added to resume which can create a great impact? Uh,
I think this is repetitive, but I'll just
yes.
summarize. For an job perspective, having a charming internship or a charming project or some charming achievement, I think that is the greatest achievement. I think it's just that your resume should stand out from the crowd.
Okay, so this is related to maths. Okay, where can we learn maths related to CP?
The maths, there's nothing such as some structured codes for maths. I think it will. come mostly with practice, I'll say.
Okay.
Oh,
So
okay.
just
Yeah.
an add-on, where did you learn like the CP? If you could tell us the resources.
Some resources.
Okay, so I'll say for starting with CP, I mentioned that CSCS website. I think that is one of the best websites. And apart from that, reading Code Forces blog are very helpful. I'll say you can just go through randomly to the Code Forces blogs and select filter on most highly voted, and just go through the blogs. I'll say those blogs are even more helpful than actually going and contesting in some contest.
Yes. But yeah, how you managed development and DSA CP during your preparation? As development is must for placement or internship.
How I managed, as in, it was most like in my preparation days when I was stuck in CP or something, I jumped to development, and when I was bored with development, I jumped to CP. Because while I was preparing for placement or internship, I did know that both were important. So it's kind of that it was mostly dependent upon my state of mind, what I wanted to do. But at the end, you should understand that there should be a balance for both of them. So I'll say just figure out your plan yourself. Do not depend upon some other person that they will plan out for you for how your routine should be. You know the best for you.
Okay, so I have a question. How did you manage your anxiety while solving problems in your first OT and interview during the internship?
Okay, that I say uh, that will come through practice only. You cannot. Yeah, it's not like you are Captain Cool that you won't have any anxiety or anything. That is when I'll say practice comes into the picture. Be very familiar with the practice that even if you face more deadlier scenarios in OTs and everything, you do not panic, because just have hopes that not making through an OT or interview is not the end of the world. There will always be more opportunities. Just have hopes, and I'll say.
Okay.
Okay, we are over with most of the questions. Kalp and Neil, if you have any other questions, you can just ask and we'll then end the session.
Yeah, like we have covered through most of questions. All the doubts of students might have cleared till now. Neil, if you
Okay,
have any.
then I think
Yeah.
maybe Bhaiya, you can just, in your final question, just talk about your college life and how the
Okay.
good old days were.
My college life, I'll say my first year around, I'll say semester wise, if I think that is. First semester around, I was like a very punctual student. I was going to classes and everything till mid semester. But that is when after that, then I started playing PUBG. That is, after that, I used to skip classes and everything. I used to bunk. That After that, I learned that it was a great addiction that I should avoid. So before joining college, I was familiar with this normal basic level of C++ and everything. My first semester was mostly focused around like enjoying and everything, but you should have balance. I won't say that just go roam around and everything. Have balance. Uh, Pick up a routine for you. Do productive things. Do enjoy. Second year, I'll say, second year onwards, it was most like I was introduced to the ocean of computer science, that software engineering, people getting placed here and there, people doing masters and all these kind of things. So second year, I think, was fun because I built really great friends. My peer groups actually started after in my second year. Then after second year, I think it was towards the end of second year when COVID came in and we were sent back home. So I'll say when I was sent back home, I knew that after my second year, this internship season will come. So that is when I started aggressively towards I'll say CP projects and everything. I mean aggressively in the sense aggressively. I mean like only thinking out and everything. When I was pumped up that I needed a internship and everything. After my internship was done, I was like completely relaxed. I chilled out like for thoroughly most of my time. I attended classes, some of them, and some I bunked. I'll say, but yes. But even after you secure a internship, do not fall for the prey of this. Do not fall prey to your comfort zone that you don't need to do anything. That is one of the regrets that I have. So just have a habit, grow, build good habits. Do not have something as you need to do something, because it is habits that will eventually build uh, that will eventually build you. So and third year onwards, third was kind of mostly like this academic process only. Fourth year, I know I bagged a PPO itself in Microsoft. So PPO, after PPO also I was pretty much still jumping around everywhere, roaming around, because I thought my because I did not had plans for any further study. So uh, it was chill for me in the final year. So after that, then I thought let's give a shot at Uber. So after Uber, I think I decided to join Uber after that.
Okay.
And I think
Okay.
you all know what happens in the final semester.
Yeah.
You get
Okay.
busy with souvenir and everything. Final year, eighth semester is the most fun thing I had in my
Hmm.
college.
Okay. Bhaiya, which food joint was your favorite in the college?
Uh, Mine was actually Jaws. I don't know if you guys are familiar, because Jaws got demolished right after my first year. Then after that, I'll say SD Day Canteen, the juice center was my favorite. That is where most we hanged around, me and my
Yes.
friends.
Because we keep fighting the SD people and the people outside SD that the other night canteens are good. Then SD people say, no, no, our day canteen is supreme. So, like that.
No,
Uh,
no, even I am with the gang of Day Canteen guys.
okay. Okay,
So
Bhaiya. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Uh, okay. Do you have any closing comments?
Nothing, just I'll say all the best. Keep preparing, build good habits, and contribute back to the community. I'll say.
Okay. Okay, I think thank you, Bhaiya, for this amazing session, and thank you, Neil and Kalp, for hosting Swaraj Bhaiya. So, this is a wrap for today. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you,
Thank you,
everyone.
Bhaiya.
Thank you, everyone.